So, for today's math lesson, you don't need anything. I'm going to be teaching you something new, which some of you might be a little bit familiar with already. And then there's a worksheet that's attached to this email. I'm hoping that it'll open for everybody. And then you'll just be responding to me in the email, or you can write down your responses. So, I'm just going to give it a try with attaching worksheets. And if it doesn't work, then I won't do this method anymore, but I just kind of want to give it a try. So, in this chapter in math, we are going to be talking about measurement. One of the types of measurements we'll be talking about are units of length. So, length means how long something is. So, think about things that you might measure. So, we could measure the bottom of the floor to the top of the desk if we were at school. When you go to the doctor, they measure you by feet or feet and inches. But there's lots of things that we use for measurement every day. If you work and you're building, so in construction, measurement is very important for measuring the length of maybe the height of a building or each floor or stairs. Or if you're putting in carpet, you might need to know the length of the space that you have and fit it in the carpet. So we use measurement a lot. And we're going to be talking about lengths when it comes to measurement for today. Now, I don't know if you have a ruler. I'm hoping that you do. If not, you don't need it for this lesson, so don't worry. And I actually don't have my rulers. Mine are all at school. So I have this tape measure, or maybe you have a tape measure at home. That would work too. But you don't need it for this lesson. I'm just going to be showing you the lengths that we're talking about. So today we're going to talk about 3 different types of lengths. And you've probably heard of each one of them before. So we're going to talk about inches, we're going to talk about feet, and we're going to talk about yards. So if you can kind of envision a ruler, you know how long, like those wooden rulers I have in the classroom, and maybe you have one at home, you can kind of envision how long a ruler is. A ruler is 12 inches. A ruler is also called a foot. So one ruler equals 12 inches or a foot. So I'm just going to show you on mine. So this is my tape measure. This is 12 inches. So my 1 is over here and my 12 is over here. And this would be a foot. Or if you would get a ruler, this would be the same amount. But 1 foot equals 12 inches. Now, each inch, so here's an inch here. An inch is about, if you think about where you have this line here to the tip of your finger, that's about an inch. Now, for you guys, it might be a little bit, an inch might be a little bit more, but an average length is about that if you would measure it. But an inch is fairly small. We don't use inches to measure big things. So if you're measuring it like the length of a classroom or the length of your desk or the height of your desk or the height of you, you can measure yourself in inches. But since inches are smaller, we typically measure smaller things in inches. So if I'm measuring my pencil, I might line my pencil up here and say, oh, it's about 4 or 5 inches. So inches are smaller. And remember, you need 12 of these for it to be a foot. Okay, so this is a foot. This is 12 inches. Now, the other type of measurement is a yard. A yard is 3 feet. So picture if you were to get 3 rulers, so 3 of those wooden rulers or plastic ruler, whatever you have, and you were to line those all up, that would be a yard. It's also 36 inches. So remember, this is an inch. This is a foot. 12 inches is a foot. Now, if I have 3 of these, that would be a yard. So that would be 36 inches. Now, it's going to be hard for me to show that to you, but 36 inches is a yard. So what you're going to be doing on your homework on the assignment that I had sent you, you have to open it up. So it should just be a picture. So I had a worksheet and I want you to just complete these problems. So I just sent it to you as an attachment. You're going to be looking at different items. So it might say like the height of a desk. So think to yourself, if you were measuring the height of your desk, so picture from the ground to the top, how are you going to measure that? And it's going to give you some choices. So it's multiple choice, but think about the picture. Now, what I don't want you to do is you're not getting a ruler and measuring the actual item that's on there, but it might say, what would be the approximate height of a refrigerator? And then it might give you examples like 3 inches, 3 feet, or 3 yards or something like that. So you are choosing the best one that would make the most sense. So some of them are a little bit tricky because you're like, well, it could be one or the other, but just think if you were measuring that or the approximate height of something, just take your best guess on those. So remember, just to kind of review, this is an inch. So I might use smaller things to measure inches, a pencil, a paper clip, a marker, something like that. This is a yard. I'm sorry. This is a foot. So this is 12 inches is a foot. So each one of these inches, which we talked about, we can measure smaller things. But then you can measure, like usually when you go to the doctor and you get measured, you know how tall you are in feet and inches. So maybe you're 4 foot and then some inches or something like that. That would be an example of how you can use feet and inches. But this is a foot. So I might use something that's a little bit taller to measure in feet. I wouldn't use a pencil because normally a pencil would not be this big. But maybe I would measure the height of a door, like a door frame. Or maybe I used this example before, the floor to the top of your desk. So this is a foot. And then remember, a yard is 3 of these put together. So it's 36 inches. That's going to be something that's a little bit taller. So the height of your refrigerator, maybe the height of a car, things like that, or the length of a car. So again, open up the other attachment that I have to this email. It's going to be a worksheet, and there's going to be problems that are multiple choice that you're going to choose the best one. If you don't understand it or you can't open it, just let me know and I'll have to try to send it a different way. Thank you.